flag, like what it's like, how the war started, it's kind of evolved into like a racial thing when really it was not started as a racial thing at all. And I think that like it should absolutely be flown like publicly.
Any other opinions as far as agreeing with him or disagreeing with him? Okay, Mr. Justice.
You do have a right to fly it. I do not think it should be flown on public property, like in front of a state house. You can also fly it at protests. But you mentioned misconceptions. There are no misconceptions about that flag. The flag that we see today is not actually the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag is similar to that of the United States. It has a blue upper right-hand corner with 7 stars in a circle, 2 red stripes, and in the middle a white stripe. The flag we see today is an interpretation of a Confederate battle flag. And the interpretation went up in the 1960s, around the time the Civil Rights Movement started. And to the point where it's not racially motivated. Then how come it's a symbol for so many groups like the KKK and the National Socialist Movement, who, as you all probably know, have white supremacist and neo-Nazi ideologies? Also, I find it ironic that people claim to be patriots when they fly that flag. The Confederates stabbed the Union in the back. They shot first. They murdered 500,000 American soldiers. And they argued that it was because of states' rights. I ask, states' rights to do what? What were we considering getting rid of at the time? Not guns. We weren't trying to raise taxes. It was slavery. We were trying to stop the expansion of slavery to the West. The Southern aristocracy panicked and left the Union. They said, we are not Americans. We are from the South, so we're starting our own country. And then they proceeded to launch numerous terrorist attacks against the Union, shooting at Fort Sumter, murdering 200 people in Lawrence, Kansas.
Okay, now, Chris.
So to my conservative compadres, when you telling us to stay out of the past, do you have that same energy with your Confederate totem flag friends? Christopher Justice posed a great question, didn't he? He said, when you talk about states' rights to do what exactly? And research over me search, right? Do y'all think it's coincidental that this battle flag of the Confederacy came popularized during the Civil Rights Movement? Do you think that's a coinky dink? And this is where the conservative contradictions start coming in. How you trying to weaponize being a patriot and loving America, but you got this old treasonous ass Confederate flag that literally made it where these folks were so against America that they waged war against it. But they got respect for American military and American veterans though, huh? So how does it feel when you make your little distinction about heritage, that your heritage is still built on slave labor? You feel what I'm saying? Let's keep it a stack, folks in the back. The people that had that Confederate flag are sore losers. They don't know how to take a L with dignity, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that Christopher was saying that KKK groups and other hate groups were flying the Confederate flag, but they were also flying the American flag. So I don't think that that's a valid argument at all in terms of like evolving the Confederate flag into racism, because if that was the case, then the American flag would also be known as racist.
I think we're gonna let the professor speak once again.
Okay. Yes. Before the United States was what it is today, that did represent slavery and women not having the right to vote. But the thing is, we evolved. The United States has evolved over the years. Our founding fathers made it so we could change. When the Union was trying to change the way slaves were treated, the Confederacy, as I said, stabbed us in the back and murdered 500,000 people. And to your argument that the Confederate flag didn't start out as racist, I disagree. Here is a direct quote from the Confederate Constitution. Other than this one bit, it is exactly the same as that of the United States. Quote, no bill or attainder ex post facto law or law denying or impairing the right of property in Negro slaves shall be passed. So it says, no matter what, we will keep our slaves. If the Confederates really were fighting for states' rights and were trying to preserve the United States, then why is this the one thing that they changed? If this wasn't key to the Civil War, why is this the one thing that they actually changed?
I have a question for you.
Let's let him Wait, let's calm down. Mr. Jones.
If you said that it was that the South stabbed the North in the back by seceding, right?
Yes.
If you're reading the Articles of Confederation, you'll read that it was 100% legal for any state or group of states to secede. If you'd read the rest
That
of the
article is
Confederation.
no longer relevant. We got rid of it after
why did you
Shays
bring it
rebellion.
up?
Why did you just bring it up
you bring
then?
it up and-
I didn't bring up the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation were
the Constitution of the Confederacy.
the Constitution of the Confederate States of America. The Articles of Confederation was the first Constitution of the United States.
Okay.
We got rid of it after an uprising in Massachusetts and have what we have today. The Articles of Confederation are no longer relevant.
All right, I have another question for you. If you're going to say that the war was started on slavery, what percentage of white Southerners own slaves?
And here's my other point.
That's 5%.
Diverting from the question.
5%.
Let me answer that. Now, the South was controlled by an elite of rich white people. The elite was trying to make themselves more powerful by pushing the Union into allowing them to move their slaves northward. Here's what they did. They tricked poor Southern whites into thinking they were fighting for freedom, when in reality they were being used as cannon fodder in a war that only benefited the rich people in the South.
Okay, so looking at the debate, looking at the discussion, is it relevant for the East population to fly it? Because none of us here, I don't think, are from the South. To what extent, or what is the point of some of you deciding to portray it here? What is your rationale?
In my views, the Confederate flag it's a flag on, it's a you can't push me anymore, I'm gonna retaliate. It's like the Gadsden flag from the Revolutionary War. The North, I feel that the North was doing unfair things to the South, unconstitutional things, and the flag was a symbol of like, you can only push me so far before I retaliate.
And do you not feel that the current American flag represents that right for you?
Oh, it absolutely does, but the current American flag was also us seceding from Britain, or not seceding, so, I mean,
I think you have every right to identify with it, but I think it's extremely bigoted and hateful to do that when you are like aware of what it stands for. And you can claim that it stands for states' rights, but if you like took a history class, I assume you know that states' rights in the context of the Civil War were about slavery. Sure, they were about other things, but they were majority about slavery. You took a history class, you know that. You're choosing to be bigoted, and I don't understand that.
Mr. Shutt.
So why do you fly the Confederate flag or whatever?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. I'll take that as a yeah. Okay. So why do you fly the flag because of what you said earlier that you can only push me so far, blah 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 blah. And what does it like represent when you put it on your car or put it in front of your house or wherever you put it?
it represents you can only push me so far. I have a Gadsden flag sticker on my car, which is Revolutionary one, the yellow one with the snake.
Yeah.
I think that they're very similar. You can only push me so far. As Georgia was saying, we have to look at every aspect of the flag. And she mentioned slavery and stuff. She didn't mention the unfair treatment by the North, and also the I keep blanking out. It was wait. I had something I was going to say.
But I think so.
It was, she said in schools what we're taught, like everyone knows history is written by the victors, so we're taught to focus on the slavery. I think if the other side would have won, then absolutely we'd be focusing on, we'd look at this North poorly. And
I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be teaching you if the South would have won. I'd probably be chilling somewhere else. All right.
Can I have like 3 examples of what else the Civil War was about that was not slavery?
This is an argument about the Civil War.
Okay, yeah, it is, because that's what the Confederate flag
Let's be civil here. I think so far we've had a pretty good discussion. All right, so there's no reason to get out of control.
I mean, I just feel like that's a legitimate question since the Confederate flag came from the Civil War. I feel like that's a legitimate question. What else does it stand for? Like, what specific states' rights issues are you talking about? And, like, how do you feel like you're being pushed? In what ways are you being pushed that you feel the need to fly the Confederate flag? Like, personally.
Mandated by the government.
Okay, like, in what instance?
Give it to him, let's go.
Well,
we want to talk about how states' rights and how all this stuff. You want to have freedom in what you believe in, right?
Okay, like specifically though.
Specifically, okay. So, not everyone is entitled to health care, but yet we think that everyone is entitled to health care. Not everyone is entitled to slavery because we got rid of that, right?
What?
Hold on. It's the same thing. Back in the South, Southerners thought that slavery was their right. Now we think that health care is our right.
So you're likening slavery to Obamacare?
Well, we're talking about we're talking about big government and we're talking about states' rights. You can compare the two.
Okay.
We're talking about what was moral.
And so you linking someone to be able to go to the hospital and being able to afford their cancer treatment has nothing to do with slavery being okay back in the South. And if you say that someone's pushing you, like who exactly is pushing you? Just like Drake, like who are you, who's pushing you? Like who? How is the government pushing you? What are they doing to Drake?
Obamacare.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is Obamacare directly affecting
I have 3 questions for the Miss in the Green. What is your name, first
Isabel.
off? Okay, Isabel, do you pledge allegiance to the American flag?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Do you know
Let him finish.
Do you know that when we left Britain to come over here, we took land from the American Indians?
Yeah, I do know that.
And do you know that also that the flag that we fly also kind of stands for hatred, and that we took land from other people, and that we've been living in land that technically wasn't ours to take? So why are you only holding partial facts?
Wait.
Why are you only holding facts to the partial facts to the Southern flag when people fly this for freedom and they don't also fly it for people stealing from You fly that flag every day for freedom, but we can't because it only stands for slavery in your mind?
I don't take my flag and go on Indian reservations and wave it around and be like, look what I stand for. I don't do that. Okay, I don't do that. What Drake does and what all of you who wave the Confederate flag in front of any African American students at East, you're condoning that and you're openly telling them that you accept the racism that they have faced and continue to face by you. I know all of you that make fun of the we too are East thing, all of you do that. I hear you do it. It is absurd. And for you to sit here and be like, it's okay because of states' rights and try to condone your own racist actions is absurd. Like, that is so ridiculous. And you can sit there and laugh at me, Drake, but you are being bigoted. And I think, like, the general American population that, like, is actually educated would agree with that. Maybe not all of us here at Shawnee Mission East that live in this bubble, but, like, I'm sorry that you're gonna continue.
Can I ask a specific question? Because we have obviously a lot of you in here who support the Confederate flag. In what way, on a personal level, do you feel tied to Southern heritage and what the Confederate flag represents?
I do not feel any.
I just want to know.
Not good at all.
Then, so why do you fly the flag?
Yeah.
Because it's a symbol of you can't push me anymore.
Okay.
Let me say something real quick.
No, I'm just, please, because, all right, I have a question for and then I'll come back to you. I have a wife from the South. My wife is from Memphis, where she sees the Confederate flag on a regular basis. And her question, when I told her about this conversation, she was like, but they live in Kansas. And if they're gonna take,
Yeah, the South.
no, let me finish, Chris. It's my turn. It's my turn. I want to talk. Respect the argument. I want to talk. So,
Hey, quiet.
her argument. Killing me, son. We're good. All right. So, her argument was that if they're gonna take Southern heritage, they gotta take all of Southern heritage. You can't just represent one part of Southern heritage and say, well, this part over here, I don't represent that, right? Just like we're saying we have to represent the entire of the American flag and what it's representing now and what it's evolved to represent. So what has the Confederate flag evolved to represent now that is so relevant to your somewhat privileged Prairie Village life.
Okay. Then why do people fly the flag of a group of people that betrayed us and tried to leave? Secondly, we're not saying that you can't fly it. We're asking you to think before you do it and understand that people might be offended. And as you may say that you have the right to fly the Confederate flag, well, go ahead. We also have the right to burn it.
Drake. Okay, as Christopher said about burning the flag, you guys will get mad that I fly it, but I'm not going to get mad that you burn it, because I'm not the type of person to get offended easily. And if you guys are the type of people that get offended by me doing something, then I don't have control over that. I don't care if you burn the flag, because I just don't get offended.
That's your right.
Yeah, like, I don't care, but if you're going to really get mad about it.
But again, with this whole like American flag argument, I don't think anybody in this room said that the American flag only stood for freedom. So that argument's kind of redundant. Also, if you're just going to end on the fact that your opponent is a little emotional, I think your argument's kind of weak. So that's that.
Okay, well, when people are talking, I can see Drake just saying, I don't care, and it's kind of offensive because, like, there are people at the school of minority that, like, really don't feel comfortable, and it affects their education, and they have to, like, move schools. There's an example that we learned about, and it's just kind of like, how do you not care if you are, like, affecting how people, I don't know, like, how they feel about Caucasian people. Like, if, like, a person of minority, I don't know, it's just so, like, how do you not care about what people think at all? Like, how do you just disregard that completely?
I do care, but anything I do or anything you do or anything someone do will offend someone out there. Like, people get offended so easily nowadays, and it's not, like, I can't control that. If I were to...
I'm not going to give my opinion either way, but I think that if there's no legitimate heritage involved, then there shouldn't be like a reason you're flying it. I mean, there's lots of other symbols, like your other flag, that you could be flying. But I mean, if there's no like direct heritage involved, I don't think there's like a major reason to fly, because there's so many other symbols.
Okay, then why do people fly the flag of a group of people that betrayed us and tried to leave? Secondly, we're not saying that you can't fly it. We're asking you to think before you do it and understand that people might be offended. And as you may say that you have the right to fly the Confederate flag, well, go ahead. We also have the right to burn it.
Drake. Okay, as Christopher said about burning the flag, you guys will get mad that I fly it, but I'm not going to get mad that you burn it, because I'm not the type of person to get offended easily. And if you guys are the type of people that get offended by me doing something, then I don't have control over that. I don't care if you burn the flag, because I just don't get offended.
That's your right.
Yeah, like, I don't care, but if you're going to really get mad about it.
But again, with this whole like American flag argument, I don't think anybody in this room said that the American flag only stood for freedom. So that argument's kind of redundant. Also, if you're just going to end on the fact that your opponent is a little emotional, I think your argument's kind of weak. So that's that.
Okay, well, when people are talking, I can see Drake just saying, I don't care, and it's kind of offensive because, like, there are people at the school of minority that, like, really don't feel comfortable, and it affects their education, and they have to, like, move schools. There's an example that we learned about, and it's just kind of like, how do you not care if you are, like, affecting how people, I don't know, like, how they feel about Caucasian people. Like, if, like, a person of minority, I don't know, it's just so, like, how do you not care about what people think at all? Like, how do you just disregard that completely?
I do care, but anything I do or anything you do or anything someone do will offend someone out there. Like, people get offended so easily nowadays, and it's not, like, I can't control that. If I were to...
I'm not going to give my opinion either way, but I think that if there's no legitimate heritage involved, then there shouldn't be like a reason you're flying it. I mean, there's lots of other symbols, like your other flag, that you could be flying. But I mean, if there's no like direct heritage involved, I don't think there's like a major reason to fly, because there's so many other symbols.
Everyone gets a say in this country, and everyone gets to like express their point of view. And I mean, let's just look at some African Americans, like during the whole Ferguson incident in Baltimore, like they were burning American flags. I mean, like they felt offended by the United States flag, by the unfair treatment by, you know, so-called like cops, I guess. But
Police brutality.
This is not about that. We can get into that.
I was just gonna say that I don't know if you guys really think like whoever wants to fly it or whatever, I don't know if you guys are thinking about like the repercussions that you're gonna have to face. I would strongly advise any of you who want to fly the flag to go to west, to go to north, and fly the flag and see what happens.
Yeah.
like.
All right. Okay. So.
I think she might be trying to say that like the environment that we're in is like not. You guys are thinking that it's okay right now because of the environment that we live in Prairie Village and in Shawnee Mission East, and I think that it just kind of shows how uneducated and not diverse the school is, and that the world isn't really like that. So if you're going to places that showcase what the world is really like, you're not going to have as much support. So be aware of that.
I think that obviously a lot of people have expressed their opinions over this debate, and I think that if anything, the most important part of this takeaway that everyone should take away from this debate is that education is extremely important, especially with controversial topics. And as long as everyone in the room is educated and knows why the other person feels that way, whether or not they take your opinion is irrelevant, because unfortunately, whether you agree with it or not, it's their opinion. And this whole debate was about educating the other side, and I think clearly there's been some good points made, and I think we should all just take away, and it's whatever happens, and it's their opinion, and that's all right. So.